Hi everyone, Helen here from A Little Lime, welcome. Today I'm going to do a first off for me, which is a look at the pages that I did in June. Now I'm not sure if this will be a once off, it depends whether you guys like it and how I enjoy doing it. These pages are in no particular order, but we're going to start off with Wildflower Folk. I did these pages for a group that I'm in on Instagram, Colouring the Christine Karen Books, and the prompt was for Winged Beauties. Now, I decided to scan and print out the page because I wanted to try my pan pastels and I didn't think they would work really well on the smooth paper. So I've used pan pastels for pretty much everything on this page except for the hair and the flowers. I did use pencils to strengthen up the colour around the face and a little bit on the wings as well. So yeah, I was really happy with it. Loved how they worked on this paper, which was the Nina cardstock that I got off Amazon. You can see the original here. So next up, I did another page for the prompt. I enjoyed that one so much that I wanted to experiment with the pan pastels a bit more. This one's Dreamy Fae, and I've done pan pastels for everything except for the flowers and the hair. I've done the hair using polychromos pencils. I like them because they're nice and hard, so I can get nice fine strokes. I really loved using the pan pastels on this page. I would have strengthened up the skin and probably done detail on the eyes with pencil. Otherwise, everything else is pan pastel and I will definitely be using them more often. Okay, on to Summer Nights by Hannah Carlson. This is the first Hannah Carlson book that I have coloured in. I actually have a couple, but I like to colour a few pages in a single book by an artist before I move on to another one, just so that I feel like I'm maximising my books a little bit rather than having single pages in a lot of books. I coloured 3 pages in this book this month, and the first one I'm going to show you is these fuchsias. I wasn't 100% happy with the background on this one. I still don't like it much. It's too dark for me. It was even darker, but what I did was it's in watercolor, so I actually put water over the whole thing and got some paper towel and faded it back a little bit. If I could do it all again, I would have done the background first before I coloured the flowers. I think that would have given me a lot more control. So the background's watercolour. The flowers themselves are done with, I think they might have been Chromaflow pencils. I really love some of the bright pinks in the Chromaflows, but I do tend to mix and match my pencils quite a bit. So, there could be any number of things that fitted the bill at the time. I also put some iridescent paint on the background and yeah, look, it's okay. I have seen a lot of people add sparkle to the gems and that as well, which looks really fantastic. But I find when I use gel pens or white pens on a piece, I don't know, it just feels too strong for me. I'm never very happy with it. It looks a bit blobby, so I tend to use more a white paint marker and fade it out a little bit with a brush. Yeah, so iridescent swirls in the background. I'll try and lift this up so you can get a better look. There you go, you can see it there in the light. Look, overall, I'm a little bit ambivalent about the page, but it's done. I learnt some things and I'm now tending to try and do my backgrounds first before I colour in the line work, just so that I can kind of set myself up for less difficulty. Next up, this is actually the page I did first. It's got a pan pastel background. The flowers have been done from Prismacolor pencils. Really nice. I was very happy with the flowers. I got a little bit sick of doing the leaves. I also I did the skin with pan pastels as well. I did have a little bit of difficulty with the beetle. I filled up the tooth of the paper really quickly, which I have found happens in this book really fast for me. Maybe I just pressed too hard. And I ended up just having to put some little dot highlights on it in the end. I couldn't get the really nice glowing blend that I wanted to on the top of the beetle, which was a bit disappointing. I tried spraying it with some fixative, but yeah, nothing really worked. So, relatively happy with that one too. Love how the flowers came out, and again, a good learning. And the final page that I did, and this is my favorite page that I think I've done for the month, very close to the top if it's not the favorite, is this one. And I'll move that around and hopefully the reflectiveness shows up of the gold and metallic green background. As soon as I saw this page, I knew that I wanted to do the hair red, and I wanted to have the metallic background and the tiger lily colours in the flowers. I also wanted to do the red stripe across the face. It's the first time I've kind of had fixed in my head before I began what I wanted the end result to look like. The only difficulty I had was with these flowers. I initially based them blue. I wasn't happy with that. The colour just didn't work because it was the two cool colours with the crown next to each other. So they were washed over with watercolour in blue, but I changed them to a warmer colour to fit more with the scheme. Look, really, really happy with it. Love how everything turned out, really. It was just a pleasure from start to finish. I couldn't wait to get to it each time I sat down to colour. I also had a small challenge with the stripe on the face. Initially, I did it too straight, and I ended up adding the contour lines to give it a little bit more shape. Okay, that's it for Summer Nights. Next up was this page in Mythomorphia, pretty much all done with watercolour. I like to experiment in these books because there's so many details and they can actually be a little bit overwhelming. I tend to throw everything at it. So it's watercolour, it's acrylic markers, little bit of iridescent there on the wings, which may or may not show up. Paint spatter, just everything. I don't like to take too long on them. The very first page I did in this book, this was actually, I think, my first colouring page. Is it this book? No, it might be the other one, actually. it's the other one. I spent ages and ages on it, and I just became so bored in the end that it wasn't enjoyable for me. So I really try and just be super fluid, and I have some hits and misses, which the next page I'm going to show you is a miss in Imagimorphia. Well, I think it's a miss. I don't like it particularly much, but I thought I would show you. I had this vision with this one of going just grayscale, and it's okay. I washed the background in a grey watercolor. There's a lot of like watercolor to shade everything up, and I went over the colors, and then there's a lot of acrylic marker to do the highlights on the flowers and things, but I don't love it. It wasn't exciting enough for me to want to share on my Instagram page, but it's all part of the learning process. I don't mind the pages that I don't like, especially if I haven't taken too long to create them. And I am someone who likes to complete pages, whether I like them or not. I don't like leaving half-done pages, so I'll sort of, even if I have to finish it up quickly to a point where I'm like, yeah, it's okay, I can leave it go now. I don't know whether I would ever want to come back and do anything more with this page, but it's a step in the journey. Okay, next up is Beautiful Planet. So in this one, you may be able to tell by now, I actually get bored quite easily. And in this page I didn't want to do both sides, to be honest. I wanted to have an experiment with these flowers. I don't know what they're meant to be. In my head, they were kind of looked a little bit like bell flowers to me, though this double sort of inside, I don't know, that doesn't feel quite right. Sweet peas, no idea what these are. So I just wanted to have a little play with it, the yellow highlights. I think it's all done, I think they're all Prismacolors on this one. The little stamens are done with acrylic paint pens. And that's it, yeah, the background's all just Prismacolor, I think. So and I've probably watercolored in these highlights. I find that often the easiest way to put in the highlights, or maybe pan pastel. A little bit disappointed with even though I use different colors on the leaves, that they've become very homogeneous. But, you know, it's okay. Beautiful Planet by Lila Julie. The other thing I think I really need to do is my covers of my books are becoming so dirty. You know, I don't know if I'm the dirtiest colorist around, but everything seems to get so messy with me. Okay, next book is Shooting Star. This is another one. I actually do work in a couple of Maria Trolle books. So Shooting Star, this one I was really happy with. I love working in this book. So the background for this one is pan pastels in the background. The pencils, I think these might have been mostly Coloursoft actually. Derwent Coloursoft. So yeah, hard to tell, but yeah, I'm pretty sure these ones were Derwent Coloursoft. I tend to work on the thing that most interests me first, which in this case, I can't remember if it was the flower. I think it was. And then I worked on the leaves, and I was absolutely bored to death doing the leaves, but it came up really well. When I used to paint and draw a lot more, I drew a lot of flowers. And what I am finding is, even though I love botanicals, I find myself actually getting a bit bored with them at times, because like in this situation, there's just so many leaves and it's so repetitive. It's not as repetitive when you're drawing them because every leaf is different. But yeah, colouring them in, it does get a bit tedious, but I was very happy with the colouring in the end. The background dots are just done with an acrylic paint pen that I've kind of tapped on, washed out, and then tapped in again to get that halo effect. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it for that book. And my last, another book where I've got several by the author, but I mostly stick with working in the one book, is Beauties and Beasties by Camilla D'Errico. So this one is the little cucumber turtle. Very happy with my little multicoloured turtle shell. So this again has got quite a few different mediums on it. I like to throw everything at my colouring. The turtle shell was definitely pan pastels. These were pan pastels. I think the little turtle was the body of him was pan pastels, but then I went over it again in pencils. And I think the same with this. I probably did some colours in pan pastels and then went over the detail with some pencil just to strengthen it up a little bit. The background flowers were acrylic markers, which I just sort of quickly, I think the whole thing was acrylic markers actually, and then a gel pen over the top. I think I just based them in a lighter colour, and then you can see the fairly strong strokes here. So they were really nice and quick and easy. All of the little shell sort of markings on him, and hopefully, again, these are really hard to tell if they're turning up or not how I'm videoing. I haven't got a screen to refer to. The second page I did, and I loved doing this page. I had so much fun with it. I'll often work in this book in between doing a more intense colouring. The same with the the Kirby Roseanne books, because I suppose I allow myself to be a lot more free with what I'm doing, and I try to not overthink what I'm doing. I just start splashing on the colours. So this one was based in watercolour. It's got so much shimmer as well. I'll flip on my light to try and showcase that a little bit better. So you can see all of the shimmer, and it's beautiful. I'm so happy with it. Okay, so background, I've got a video on how I did the background technique and showing you a couple of variations of how to use that same technique with different colours. Watercolour, then pencils for shading around the face and the body parts. I think I did a little bit of pencil on the mane as well, just to distinguish the different areas. Staedtler pigment pens, I love using those for shading. Lots of gel pens and Staedtler pigment pens in the tail, and I don't know what that's called. The bubbles have iridescent paint on them as well, or metallic paints on them. You might be able to just see that one there. Acrylic paint markers. I think that's it. Oh, there's also shimmer in the background too. So I just had a really good time with this one. I loved it. It didn't take me long at all to do, a couple of hours compared. So I would be really interested to know whether you enjoyed this video, whether it's worth my while doing any more of them. I used to be on YouTube sort of 6 to 10 years ago doing something a bit different, and I am still using the same channel, but you can see that my focus is more on colouring and playing with art mediums and things. So I'm very interested to know if you are following along, whether you are interested in this sort of content drilling right down into, you know, sort of the micro, I suppose, of what I'm colouring, or whether you're more interested in seeing techniques and things. I've got a fairly extensive creative background, so I do love using mediums and playing with them and teaching people how to use them. So I'm really interested to know your thoughts. See ya.